Good afternoon and welcome to the session of the changing economic scenario and business ethics, which, as the name suggests, deals with striving to maintain the ethical values amidst changes. The experts with us today are Mr. Bharat Agarwal, a very dynamic and foresighted president of the Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, Mr. Harish Bhat. He is a brand custodian of Tata Sons, chairman of Tata Coffee Limited, and a director on the boards of several Tata companies. An accomplished marketer, he has played a key role in building many iconic Tata brands. He has authored 2 books, Tata Log and The Curious Marketer. We also have with us Sonali Sambhus. Sonali is recognized as an industry thought leader and technologist. As an entrepreneur, her startup 10 Jumps went through a successful acquisition. Previously, she was head of the engineering for ViewClip and currently heads growth and incubation for MoveInch in California. Can we please have a big round of applause for Mr. Bharat Agarwal, Sonali Sambhus, and Mr. Harish Bhat. Sonali, I request you to take the discussion forward.
It's a pleasure for me to be here today. I was thinking about this panel discussion today morning, more about the panel that we have. And one thing that struck me is the interesting diversity we have amongst the 3 of us. We obviously have gender diversity. In addition, we have global diversity. So I'm based in USA. My heart is set in Pune, but I'm based in USA. So we have global diversity with me from the US and Bharat ji and Harish ji from India. Plus we have industry diversity. So I am a technologist. The one thing that I know is software and technology. Bharat ji covers a lot of diverse industries with education, manufacturing, obviously publishing now. And Harish has been, brand custodian for Tata Sons, and so there's a plethora of industry that he comes from. So pleasure to have, with you the time with you today. I wanted to start with actually talking about the economic status that we have in our country today. So I'll hand it off to Bharat ji. To hear his perspective on where do you think, Bharat ji, is the country's economic status today, and where do you see it going ahead?
Good afternoon to all of you. It's an honor to be here at PILF. Sonali, can we do away with the G's now? Let's come to the first names.
Sure.
I represent the education sector majorly. Also have a small manufacturing unit supplying the auto components. My perception is that, my current feelings about the economic status of the country is very positive. Today, we talk about growth, we talk about reforms, we talk about changes, we talk about improvements. I think so these words are spoken at a global level more in India than anywhere else. Recently, when I was, we have an association with a Singapore-based university called Nanyang Technology University, NTU. And we were discussing about how can VIT and NTU collaborate on research. There are projects in NTU which, of course, are state-of-the-art, new innovations. And the immediate reaction of the professionals from NTU was, the best way we can collaborate is that we develop the technology over here and we test it in India.
Wow.
Which clearly shows that if it has to be proven in an economy where there is these words spoken of growth, of improvement, of innovation, without which the innovations are good to have, but not used. So a one-word sentence, a one-word reaction to the current economic situation is good, positive.
Great to hear that perspective. And I'm going to wear the devil's hat now and present another perspective. If you actually look at the GDP numbers, the last 6 quarters, India's GDP growth is declining. I sit on the other side of the globe in the US, and interestingly, we actually have a very, very positive feel about India. It's all about, it's a massive economy, absolutely growing at scale. Like Bharat said, there's a lot of, positive improvements happening. But yet, the economic status, the numbers themselves are not adding up. So I wanted to turn over to you, Harish, to hear what your perspective is.
So, Sonali, I actually share exactly the same perspective which Bharat expressed. I think India is a shining star on the global economic firmament, and let me explain why. One, I think, notwithstanding rates of growth in a particular quarter, the Indian economy is still amongst the fastest growing economies in the world. There are very, very few economies in this world which are growing at 5, 6, 7% today. In many countries of the world, growth of 1% or 2% is normally applauded in many developed countries of the world. So this is the first point why I am very, very positive. And I think as Indians in particular, we should have this positivity about a growth maybe 7% in one quarter or 6% in the next quarter or 7.5 in the next quarter, but these by any global standards are excellent, very good levels of growth. Can they be higher? Of course they can be higher, but are they very good levels by themselves? Yes. That's the empirical evidence I'm looking at. The second point I want to make is, look at the number of economic reforms that this government has rolled out. Let me take a single reform like GST. We are in the very early stages of GST, and I agree that there may be some transitional issues which may pull down short-term growth. But in the long term, having a single market across the country with the single unified GST kind of rate instead of multiple taxes that used to bother us earlier is going to be very, very efficient for our own businesses in the Tata Group, but also for virtually every business in India. It is going to bring so many more people into the tax net. It is going to make us a far more compliant economy, which will lead to lower costs of doing business, a more even playing field, and therefore higher growth. That's the second. Third, I do believe that today we have a very, very stable government, which is focused on doing the right things for India in the future. And I think that intent is something that we should applaud. That intent is very, very positive. There may be short-term roadblocks which come in the way of that intent, but that intent is positive because like they say in Hindi, niyat theek to sab theek.
Very well said, very well said, Harish. So next question, I think, Harish, for you. What do you believe are the fundamental changes happening at a global level which you see impacting the future economy of India?
I see 4 or 5 fundamental changes at a global level. I think one huge change at a global level which is impacting every country, including India, is digital. Digital is just in every, whether he's running a wonderful, educational institution, group of educational institutions, or whether I am in the corporate world, or whether you're in the world of being an entrepreneur and a tech entrepreneur. I think digital is fundamentally part of all our lives, and it is shaping our economy now and for the future. That's one big mega force which I think is upon us today. The other big mega force which I think is shaping global economies everywhere is in many countries today I am seeing the rise of nationalism. And nationalism is going to shape the way countries look at each other and the way countries trade with each other. And that is another big force that I am seeing coming upon. So let me just stay with these 2 forces for the moment. I can of course talk about health and wellness being a big force, about the emergence of a large number of working women in emerging economies like India being a big force.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's a force which is shaping the way consumer demand is going to behave in the future. But those are some big forces shaping the economy.
Great thoughts.
Sonali, may I interrupt? One more guest panel, Mr. Gavhane has arrived. So may I welcome Mr. Gavhane on the stage, please. White chair. ते तिथे ठेवू ना साईडला 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 त्या साईडला.
Glad to have Mr. Gavhane with us. So, Mr. Gavhane, we are having a discussion about, what are the fundamental changes at a global level that are actually impacting India's economic future. Would love to hear your thoughts on the topic.
Yeah, extremely sorry, I'm delayed by a few minutes. Actually, the emerging scenario globally in terms of economic situation is projected to be a grave one. And I have the figures with me to prove that. The overall, global GDP growth will be 3.6 for the whole world. By 2012 to 17, this is the scenario. And India's GDP is 7.2. And the most serious part which we should be concerned about is that the potential employment generation is a serious issue. And because these are the bare facts and we have to look at them. And this is a dangerous threat to the whole world because it will create conflict, it will create violence, it will increase criminality, and it will create conflict between the countries also. So providing employability, the skills, and there is an alternative opportunity structure. But let me just project the scenario, global scenario. For example, in 2018 to 2030, okay, the global potential of employment generation is just 0.06. Very serious. 2030 to 2050, it is 0.01. Very concerned. So if world as a whole, we are not able to generate employment, what will be the future of the youth of the whole world? And it is more concern for India because we will be having major youth force of the world. So that is one very grave concern I am feeling about. The another positive point of India and China is that in terms of GDP, the India and China are comparably going to be better positioned. Like we are BRICS, part of BRICS, potential economic powers of the world. And I feel happy as an Indian that we are in that coterie of the best economies in the world. And within just 70 years of Indian independence, India has proved its mettle that yes, we can compete, we can stand, and we can create a difference. That is the power of India, and we should appreciate that.
Absolutely.
When expressing the concern. Let me indicate the India's future scenario. For India, 2018 to 30, the employment generation in India will be just 0.06. It was 2001 to 17, it was 1.2. And I personally feel if you could not, in GDP terms, will be positioned great. For example, the Brazil will be 2.7, then the China will be higher than India. It will be 8.8, but will be 7 plus. That is the best point of India. But in terms of creating employment, the best possibility for India is the surplus manpower we will be having. Surplus human capital we will be having. That is the strength of India. So India's real strength is human capital, I personally feel.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
ma'am, just let me complete with one more sentence that, all developed economies in the world, they are having deficiency in human capital of their own. So there is a great opportunity structure for the Indian youth to be a global citizen and get an employment, performance, entrepreneurship, and whatever you just mentioned about the entrepreneurship. So all this innovation and knowledge creation and being a part of digital economy, that is the front-running area for which India should carve for. And this is the future of India. We can provide human capital to the world. We can be a food capital of the world, and we can provide food to the whole world. That is the power of India, and we should concentrate for that.
Excellent point and great statistics, Mr. Gavhane. I wanted to extend Mr. Gavhane's data. India has actually reached 1.32 billion people, very close to China, and it makes an extremely lucrative investment market for the entire world. From my own tech center, recently Netflix launched in India, and Netflix projection for India is probably 4 times as much as what they can do in the US, because 65% of Indian population is below the age of 35, and we know how it is with millennials and video consumption and consumerism. So India certainly presents a lot of opportunity for global companies for investment. Yeah. That's great. Now let's turn to the second part of our discussion, which is around business ethics. So speaking about business ethics, Harish, you've been with the Tata Sons for long, the largest, probably one of the largest conglomerates in India. What is your perspective on business ethics in corporates in India?
So, I feel that many corporates in India are now waking up to the reality of good corporate governance being part of corporate life. I am seeing many positive moves towards that. I'd like to mention that there is today increasing stakeholder scrutiny from all sides. This is due to democratization of the internet access. There are several legislations like the RTI Act which play a role, which require corporate governance to be of much better standards than it was in the past. So that's the first point I want to make. Having said that, we should still recognize that in India, I think we have to push corporate governance and business ethics as an agenda very strongly. If you look at the corruption perception index in the world, I'm just quoting a figure here, India is ranked 79th in that corruption perception index today. The countries like Denmark and New Zealand, which are right on top. And how can we progress towards that? Definitely has to be a focus area within the country. We have to work very hard. There is sometimes a prevalent cynical view that Indian business culture is of a certain kind. We have to change that, and we have to ensure that values and good culture become part of every single business entity in the country. In many ways, I think some of the moves this government is making is going to help that. Something like GST, which I spoke about earlier, is going to ensure that there is a more ethical, even playing field in the future. And businesses will have to operate in a more compliant mode. But the point is, focus on corporate governance is growing. And can India do much more? Of course we can do much more. That's my overall point.
Great perspective. Bharat, what is your thoughts on the subject?
Business ethics on one front is, of course, corruption and corporate governance, which Harish spoke about. At a more ground level, I would try to relate business ethics with professionalism. Professionalism amongst Indian corporates, Indian companies, and even individually when we deal business with each other, needs, I would say, a whole lot of improvement. Professionalism starts with keeping your promises. You cannot be irresponsible towards your own words. A small thing like a vendor payment getting delayed, it can happen. But when it happens, I am sure through my own small factory, when I have a supply in the UK and there is a delay in payment I receive, there is a sorry. But over here, when I supply in India and there is a delay in payment, there is a fault in my system because of which the payment has got delayed. So what I mean by ethics is, mistakes happen in business, mistakes happen because of a global environment of uncertainties, but let's admit to it, and a sorry can solve most of the issues. Business ethics has a huge role to play, professionalism has a huge role to play in improving the brands. We all know what the Tata Group stands as a brand promise for. We learned that as a case study in most of our management schools. The brands are built only and only if promises are kept, and to keep promises, you should have an ethical enterprise. So I think ethical enterprises at the ground level, to have ethical enterprise at the ground level, professionalism is something that we need to build as a culture between us as individuals and as corporates.
Couldn't agree with you more. Actually, we speak of business ethics, but I think what's very related to business ethics is individual ethics and is also societal ethics. So these are sort of different aspects which actually combined together form business ethics. Mr. Gavhane, would love to hear your thoughts.
You're from the industry, I am from the academics. And I think I will be in position to speak aloud about all these things. Yeah. That is the power of a teacher, right? Can tell the truth powerfully. And I've been proud of it. See, there are three kind of things, in ethics we should follow. Your mind is polluted, your actions will be polluted. And if our education is polluted, our future of the nation is polluted. So therefore, the values, the mindset should be taught in education. That is our responsibility. Whatever wrong is happening, I say we are responsible for that because we have not inculcated the values among our students. We are at failure. But at the same time, the government and corporate sector should look at to this matter, because why you are having a staff which is highly corrupt? And we cannot answer to that. I have a guy I am paying very good, still he is corrupt, right? And he is interested in the deals where, payoffs are there. And we encourage them for doing these kind of things. Can we do away that? As you said, we should be professional. So, accountability, the transparency and morality. This is new ATM of business ethics. Accountability, transparency and morality. If you are moral in your business and you are, as a CSR, you are not doing as this is compelled by the act and we are doing, that should come from your heart. And lately we are seeing when they reach 70s and they are billionaire, they cannot account their own income, because I just read about Bill Gates. Even he spends 10 crore rupees per day. His money will be there for next 100 years. Even though he spends and never earns anything. That kind of richness, unimaginable richness has been created by this IT sector. So how to share that value to the value addition of our society? And as I have said, that how can we come out with a scenario where I am proud that I am in a MIT WPU World Peace University, where we have given focus that even engineers will be taught world peace. Even management students are taught world peace. This value education and inculcating that. Let me quote two organizations of Pune. One is the BJ Shirke Group. BJ Shirke Group, attrition ratio is 0. Why it is so? The care for the employees, care for the employees. And there was a scenario in 2008-9, the big Shirke, he is no more. At the age of 94, he expired. But the spirit of that institution is, I love that as a teacher, as an academician. It's a case study we should do, and we should follow the path of that. And there in 2008-9 there was no much jobs, and about 3,000 employees were asked to go on leave for 3 months, and as and when we will get the job, it's in the construction company, then we will call them back. This was informed to the chairperson. He said, what a wrong we have done. Their families are dependent on us. So let them come back and we'll pay them 50% salary without doing any job, because the wealth of my company is created by those people. So this spirit is very important. And another example I would like to show. Bharat Vikas Group, BVG, who is in housekeeping, right? A young entrepreneur of telco. He started his career in telco as a junior engineer. And now he has created a company, Bharat Vikas Group. At present, he has created employment of 70,000 people. So we need entrepreneurs and corporate houses which will not try to cut the employment, which will have a mission of increased employment. That is required for India. And this Bharat Vikas Group, they are in agriculture now, they are expanding. They are in health care, because these are the missions of the government, and these are the mission of the social justice, equality. And these are the very important mission on the larger scale, because United Nations has come out with the Sustainable Development Goals. We have to achieve them 2030. So all these goals are giving equal justice and equal opportunities, gender equality. All these points are very important. And I personally feel that Hanumant Gaikwad, in a small town, small village boy from Satara district, he created a 1,000 crore company now. And his ambition, at present I am having 70,000 employees, and I am dreaming after 12 years I will have 10 lakh employees in my company, and I will reach out with the benefit to the 10 crore people of our country. I salute that man, and we should follow such path and create such paths.
Very, very inspiring, completely. I think we spoke a lot about challenges with business ethics. But let's speak to what we can do, what we believe we should do, so that we change the situation around. Right? Bharat, what's your view on what we should do as a country, whether it's regulations, reforms, otherwise, to change the situation around?
Like Harish mentioned previously, I think so the legislation is changing for the good, bringing more transparency. The corporate governance rules are getting stricter. You have acts like the RTI, which brings in transparency, and people who are not within the regulatory framework are also being looked upon. So they have been punished in one sense. So this is a good start from the government. We as professionals, as businessmen, and again on the ground, we should only think of the way of long term. See, an unethical decision or a decision which is against, which is unfair on one party will only be short term. I happened to see one website, I don't remember, wherein they have correlated film industry personnel across the globe, and they say that they prove through the website that you name any two film industry professionals, someone in Hollywood, someone in Tamil Nadu, you will find not more than 3 layers of connection between them. Now what this means is that we are a connected world, and in this connected world, can we have a situation where if I am unfair to a person today, I will never meet him again in future? So the answer is no. So let's be fair, let's look long term, and if you have to work for long term, for the betterment of your own company, for your own wealth, ethics is something that needs to be built as a system. And let's not talk more, let's practice this as a leaders of our organizations. I'm sure if the leaders start practicing this, the organizations just follow it.
Great point, great point. The one other interesting perspective I wanted to bring in, which is a little different one, is also one culture we have in India. I call it the Sir culture. Right? So in India, the corporates have hierarchical culture. And in this interesting culture, what also happens is the juniors or the subordinates tend to follow, like you said, the leadership. And more importantly, when they see unethical practices, the people don't feel empowered to speak up, because ultimately it's a Sir culture. I contrast this with some of the other data I see outside. For example, Uber. I'm sure you guys have heard the Uber story, where the CEO of the world's biggest transportation company got fired. And how it started is one employee reported unethical practices of that CEO. So the power that an individual has, the empowerment the individual has, and the ability to speak freely actually really goes a long way. We had a similar case with Google, where one employee actually wrote this memo to Sundar Pichai, and in the memo, the employee brought about gender diversity issues. It's another thing that the employee got fired, but I think more importantly, the employee felt that he could write to the CEO of Google and express his concern. I think we as a country need to move also towards that culture where it is actually a lot of ground up work in addition to top down work, and then we can look towards getting business ethics. Yeah. Harish, would love to hear your perspective.
So my perspective on this is, first and foremost, I think, like you said, sir, and like you have said, Bharat, I think ensuring that corporates do what is good for the nation, I think, is first and foremost. You mentioned about the creation of jobs. That is a crying need in India today, the creation of jobs. So, when Jamshedji Tata founded the Tata Group 149 years ago, he did not, of course he wanted to create profitable enterprises, but he did it for the love of India. He did it for the nation. That is why he, in addition to creating Tata Power or in addition to creating Tata Steel, he also created the Indian Institute of Science, or he created the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, or the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, or the Tata Memorial Hospital. Corporates have to keep in mind that they're part of a social ecosystem. And doing what is right for the nation, I think, is very, very important. I'm not saying run a loss-making business, a profitable business which contributes to the nation. I think that is the junction at which corporates should operate. Second point, I completely agree. Short-term profits through short-term unsustainable behavior, I don't think is going to create corporations for the long term. What is going to work in the long term is what you have to bear in mind. And only then will the company you create or the corporation you create live for a long period of time. Otherwise, it will come and go. And that has to be borne in mind. I often tell myself, I am so fortunate to be working with the Tata Group, which is 149 years old. And why has this group lived for 149 years? Because generally speaking, it is good to society. Generally speaking, when Jamshedji Tata created the group, he took 66% of the shares and put them into Tata Trusts, which are, so 66% of the profits and dividends flow to charitable trusts today, which put up hospitals or universities or other philanthropic and social measures. That's the second. Third, very, very important, I think Bharat touched on this, and I think this is relevant to all of us in this auditorium today. Leaders of Indian organizations have to walk the talk. I think leaders have to walk the talk. It is not a question of, speaking here at a panel discussion, not a question of my speaking in my company. Do I walk the talk every single day? The commitment that I make to Bharat, am I able to keep it up? Am I able to do my business in a ethical way, professional way with others? That walking the talk is very, very important. And I think when all leaders in India start doing that, I think Indian corporate culture by itself, business ethics, will become ingrained in our corporate culture.
Excellent point, Harish. Great perspective. On the same note, actually, increasingly in companies all over, outside in India, I see corporate social responsibility really picking up. And what corporate social responsibility is actually putting a formal name exactly for what you said, which is where a company contributes towards the social initiatives, the environment initiatives, and takes responsibility of its actions towards society and towards environment. I see this increasing adoption in external companies, and I also see similar trends in India. Yeah. Bharat, do you have any perspectives on CSR happening in India?
Well, a lot. Of course, we only talk and read about the big groups like Tata's and the MNCs doing it. Adin, I would like to keep myself more on the ground. When the RT Act is implemented, the RT Act permits 25% or I would say prescribes 25% students to be taught free of cost in all private schools. Yeah, and it's compulsory, and these students have to be below economically below the poverty line. So there is some criteria for these students if they can enroll for the RT admissions. So what is this? This is CSR.
Yeah.
This is CSR. This is a type of CSR. Now, just to quote an example, I of course don't use this stage to brag about what we do, but my two schools, my Wisdom World schools, I have two of them, and total I have 175 students who have taken admission under the RT quota as of date. They are learning free of cost, and they are below the BPL. and they are getting the education where a parallel student is paying the lakh rupees per year as fees. This is a small example on what I can say a institute as good as a small school is contributing towards CSR, or in other way CSR. I'm sure such messages of large groups contributing this is very important, because they always give us some larger ambition towards CSR activities. But when I see so many small examples around, it also gives us some feeling that it's not important to be big to do CSR. We can do some CSR even whatever size we are.
Great point. It's like they say, charity begins at home. I think along the similar lines, every individual, small or big, has this opportunity to contribute towards ethics. Mr. Gavhane, would love to hear your thoughts on how we as a country can improve business ethics.
Yeah, improving business ethics, then there should be philosophy and spirit of corporate social responsibility. That should be in the blood of that organization, like Tata you have mentioned. I like the person Ajim Premji. So he put 12,000 crores of his own property for development of education in India in the remote areas, tribal areas. And I have seen, I do not want to name them. I can name, I am not worried about, because I am a teacher, I can speak openly. No constraints.
Now I wish I was a teacher.
Yeah. And actually, why our, Mahindra and others, they have invested and, given grants of 1,000 billions to the top universities in the world. They are flooded with the grants. Improve your Indian, higher education structure. Make one public university the best university in the world. Put your whole money into that. You have earned profits because of India, Indian consumers. Why you are investing abroad? Those universities are flooded with capitals, grants, R&D labs. Develop here. Your son of soil, you have been benefited by consumers here. Invest for them. Sometime 25% is okay, I agree. But this cannot be, thumb rule that you should invest in the best institution. You make average institution, best institution, that should be your mission. This is the empowering.
He trusts them outside because they use it profitably.
Okay, that is also, agree, that is also a question of ethics. Yeah, yes, but, yeah.
I was the director of Sambhus.
Okay.
So I went to him and spoke to him.
Okay.
And my son bought him one of his cars, so we met him.
Okay.
The point is that he said, I cannot trust you. I said, why can't you invest in Sambhus? Why can't you invest in Pune, lovely colleges? He said, I don't trust you.
Yeah. So actually we should also not trust him, because of us he is there. He is at that side. If trust deficiency is from the both sides. There are good organizations in India. Good educational institutions in India. They are making mark. They are highly committed for the social development, social justice. There are people. I know one from Patna, IIT professor. He resigned and he is creating IITians from the poor families. He hunts for those small talented boys and train them and make them top people. Why can't we do that? For example, once a business organization like yours identify 100 super best brains in India belonging to below poverty line and then, take them to the top level. This is the true empowerment of India. You can do that. Talent is there in India. Enormous talent in India. So empower them. There are tribal communities in India. I am a social scientist. I minutely study. In Maharashtra, there are 45 tribal communities. And there are 10 plus tribal communities from where there is not a single girl graduated till after 70 years. Who is to shoulder the responsibility? I think the corporate sector in India, the government in India, public at large in India, we the beneficiaries of India, we are the middle class. Middle class should, indicate and prove by their deeds, yes, we are committed to our nation. Nation building is not just saying, Garva se ko Bharatiya hai. Nothing. Garva se ko by action, we are Indians. That actions are of matter.
Excellent.
And it will change future of our country.
Can I speak?
Sure.
Okay. After listening to all of y'all, I speak really with a very, very heavy heart. I am not a rich or a corporate person. I'm a simple, ordinary army officer who served the nation. The last sentence on my promissory note was, I promise to serve my country by air, land, and sea as long as my services are required.
Kya baat hai?
Now, I speak with a heavy heart because I am settled in Pune every day, not once, 2, 3, 4 times. Today I don't ride my scooty, but when I was driving my scooty, at every signal, I see a child hawker, a child beggar whose eyes and limbs have been distorted, and I see this today from my car also. Talking about RTE, my rack picker approached me. I went to Shivaji Military School, SSPU, which is in Shivaji Nagar. The child literally touched the principal's feet, and he was denied admission, and I was told lies that only nursery classes given RTE. And I had not studied that. But I have personally at an individual level gone to the police administration regarding everything without anything. That was my individual work. But I'm disappointed to say this topic is very good at an academic level. But at the floor level, every day after demonet, the things which I saw, in Maharashtra there's a dialogue, 1760 झंझट से कौन पड़ेगा? Every BPL person in the bank was saying 1760 document मैं आधार के लिए कहाँ से लाऊं? This is the ground reality of our country.
Yeah.
And in Mumbai, Delhi, wherever I travel, this is the truth of our country, that even today you walk out from here, on that circle you will find child beggar and child hawkers. Do we have a solution for this? That's the big question.
Great point, great point. I hear you. I think we all hear the pain. I think we all hear the problems that our society has. I wanted to speak to something that Mr. Gavhane brought about, which is excellent, which is people in India having trust in investment abroad for charity versus investing in India. I have actually seen the reverse. So I personally flew in all the way from USA because I'm extremely passionate about empowering Indian women, and that's why I came in all the way. A lot of my friends I know actually actively invest in India in all kinds of social initiatives. So much like money is going from here outside, I'm aware of a lot more money where Indians who are not in India really, really want to do from all their heart something for their country, something, the country that made them who they are today. And there's a lot of active investments happening from that flow as well. So on this positive note, I wanted to turn over to question and answers, and maybe we have about 5 minutes for question and answers.
Can I add one?
Please.
Let me, most of the time we teachers speak aloud about so many things, criticizing others and all that. But when it comes to my deeds, I am not an honest person, or I am not doing something result oriented. Let me share one thing. I was in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. It's a public university, and 95% students are coming from below poverty line, right? And SC, ST students, backward section. So there is an earn and learn scheme we run, okay? So almost, sir, 1,000 students, those who want some job on the campus, because if they don't get that job, that girl and that boy will leave the education, higher education. This is the scenario. And the SC students, those who are getting scholarship, some amount they send to their parents because their livelihood is also dependent on that scholarship. Such a poor students are there. So I was director of student welfare for 5 years, and I thought that this earn and learn scheme should be strengthened. And you will be happy to note that with the help of these students, we have started, file making, stationery, pad making, envelope making, and girls and boys are doing that. And we are providing that stationery. Shama Pratishtha was his brand name, and we provided to all colleges and university also. So can we come out with the educational institutions can come out with such kind of support base, I can say, Aadhaar, different kind of Aadhaar to those students who cannot sustain in the higher education, we can create. One more thing I have done. In my university, there was almost 200 acres of wasteland lying for decades. When I become campus development committee chairperson, okay, that time I decided I will do something eternal, lasting. And I made a project that converting that 200 acres of wasteland into a fruit lab. And I'm happy to inform you all people that 20,000 fruit plants I have planted, and they are fruiting now, and they have created an oxygen hub for Aurangabad city for next 100 years. So that kind of activity on your level, small scale, doesn't matter. But you make a small impact of your personality. If you are committed to the nation, if you are committed to the well-being of the society, then by your small action, you should make imprints of yours. That is my request to all of you. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Sonali, I just need to remind that we have the last 10 minutes. We can open the forum for questions from the public.
Yep, absolutely. So welcome questions from the audience. We have a question there. Do we have a mic?
Hello. So my name is Siddharth. I am from BMCC. My question was in the academic side, where students can pay out donations to the college and just get into whatever stream or whatever institute they want. Doesn't that go quite far away from the ethics of an educational institute or educational trust? And how do you as a world peace university tackle that?
Very talented boy. Hard-hitting question he has asked. My say is right. If business deals are with the corrupt practices, same way admission deals should not be in a corrupt practices. And there is a solution. As you rightly said, you can earn profit because profitable enterprise. You are not getting grants from the government. It's okay, fine. You have to earn, you have to survive and sustain and develop. But at the same time, can you not make it transparent? These are the management seats, and for these management seats, we will be charging 5 times fee. Open, transparent, black and white, not only black. Okay? And like Tata and other good organization can give some management admission to the poor students in the management quota. Let one student at least, let one girl at least should enter in a management quota without paying a single rupee. That should be kind of a change-making activity we can take up. I'm really agree with your point, sir. Siddharth, you are a good Siddharth, right?
Hi, good evening, good afternoon. I have a very simple question. When Sir talked about nationalism being put on the forefront of education sector and so on, but recently we got to know that the part of Mughals from our history has been absolutely eradicated. And I think about a decade ago, the archives of the Bhandarkar Academy were burnt to ashes. That was a big loss for all history enthusiasts because these were original documents, and through those documents a particular theory was proved. So when we talk about being a nationalist, is India moving towards being a real nationalist or an aggressive nationalist?
Question for whom?
Sir had recently talked. I'm really sorry, I forgot your name, sir. Yes, Harish, sir.
Okay, I'll try to respond, even though I don't know whether you asked it to me. Of course, the Indian society is in general very liberal, very open-minded, very progressive. And this is not today, this is for the last 100 years. Centuries, so many years. Even under the British rule, there were transformists. I saw some photo over here of Dadabhai Navroji. Means he was a progressive man in the 1800s. See, this section of people who are progressive, liberal, forward-looking was small. It has been growing. and it has grown to become a majority today. And when we talk about this sort of majority which are nationalist in the true sense of being nationalist, there will be some minority who claim to be nationalist, but to put it in the, I don't know a better word for it, like we said, the religious nationalist or the fundamental nationalist. Or so that's a minority. And in any nation of this size, you will have some majority and some minority. The good part about you as a student, you are here to stay. I am also somewhat young. The good part is that what we term as the actual nationalists, the liberal nationalists, the forward-looking guys, we are in majority. So we should be happy with that fact. Ma'am, I am not competent enough to respond to that.
I will dare to speak. Yeah. See, the historical documents of any country is the cultural heritage. Yeah, history. Yeah. So it's the value of those documents, a single document, is such a valuable component for our future generations, because history gives you direction, history gives you roadmap, history gives you direction that what you should not do also. So it's an educative force. And therefore anybody who is an academic criminal, I say them as academic criminals, and they are the brutes. Those who destroy documents, they are brutes. And they should be taken up, right? They should be booked, and they should be punished. Whosoever, whatsoever document, they are undemocratic, and they are against the culture, they are against the knowledge, they are against the heritage, and all these things are hampering the very nationhood of our country. So all, small even documents are important, We are not Talibans, and we should not be. We should not be. And if you are going that road is very dangerous, my friend. There is one saying in Hindi, I will say, and ma'am, you will speak. आग को होती नहीं अपने परायों की कमीज, ये भूल गए आग लगाने वाले. आग को कहीं अपने परायों की तमीज नहीं होती है. आग एक बार लग गई, ये देखती नहीं है अपना है कि दूसरे का है. सब जगह आग लग जाती है. मित्रों, आग मत लगाओ, आप बुझाने की कोशिश करो. All documents are valuable. They may be against you or for you, doesn't matter. But that is a very valuable heritage of our country. Preserve it, analyze it, critically analyze it, doesn't matter, but preserve that.
We have a question there.
Sonali, in fact, we just need to begin with the book launch. So can we please stop, because we have
Sure, I think this has been a very engaging discussion. I think with this discussion, we not only touched economic status and business ethics, I think we actually also invoked the Indian in all of us, absolutely. And I think it's been great talking with you guys. Thank you.
So here's a book named Elevate, Career Rise with Balanced Life, written by Sonali Sambhus, and it will be inaugurated by Mr. Bharat Agarwal, Harish, Bhat, Dr.Gavhane, and Vishal Soni.
I like this balanced life.
It's a honor for me to be able to launch.
Just speak a little. Sit down. Give big hand, yaar. This is not good. Thank you.
It's truly a absolutely honor for me to be part of Pune International Literary Festival and have my book launched by Bharat, Harish, Dr. Gavhane. Absolutely a pleasure. I am a working tech entrepreneur. My social cause, and we spoke about so many social causes today, is to give back to the women of India. Yeah. I believe we have a lot of talented workforce which is completely underutilized today, and most women are actually caught in this tug of war of family and career, and my book hopes to be a guide to all these women, and I hope to address a burning problem of our country, which is gender diversity and underutilized women talent. So thank you and pleasure to be here today.